Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Tuesday morning to you all. Hope you're all right. Hope you are all okay and looking forward to a good Tuesday ahead. Obviously, in this video, we'll be doing the final full loan roundup of the season. Obviously, a lot of the Championship, League One and League Two in the English pyramid have finished their what you'd call the regular season. The playoffs are still taking part. I'll be talking about the teams that are going to be in those playoffs as well. We'll be talking as well, obviously, about Bodo Glimt on Thursday night. You know, I know some people are sort of saying, these the injury news, and I get that, but a part of me also kind of goes, let's just wait an extra 24 hours and I don't know if Ange's press it today, but just hear it from the horse's mouth. So we talk about the game as well. I hope we're all right. Hope we're all okay. I will be very frank with you. I will be not on here as long as I normally am for my lives. Lives are like 35, 40 minutes. This will be about 20 minutes. I need to get ready because I'm on a call at 11. So apologies for that. But yes, good morning, Sonia Spurs. Glenn, Baz, EZ, Jake, how are we all? Let's jump in and talk about Bodo Glimt. Obviously, that's the thing that's most important coming in really through the next 48 hours. Obviously, we are 2 days away from the second leg, and a leg, obviously, that has a question mark or two surrounding it. You know, obviously, everyone talks about the pitch. I get it. The pitch is a bit different than we normally play on. Understand it. Obviously, you're playing away, different country, travel was involved. I get that. Okay, I get that. There is a potential that James Maddison might be done for the season like Lucas Bergvall. And I get that we have so much unluckiness when it comes to these injuries. It's ridiculous. And I just don't know another team that seems to go through the sheer volume of injuries that Spurs do. Let's hope Vinay, when he comes in, hires actually competent medical teams. That would be nice. Obviously, these two, nothing to do on the medical team, nothing to do on Ange. They're just freak incidents. So before you cry about it, it's just freak incidents. But in general, hopefully Vinay, when he comes in, will fix things. But also, there is returning players for Bodo Glimt. We know that. But there is a returning player for Spurs. We'll be talking about that as well. But look, on the game itself, Spurs go into what in theory is half-time. You know, there's two legs, 90 minutes each. This is half-time, okay? So it's a little bit longer than your normal 15 minutes, I know. But it's half-time of the tie. Spurs are 3-1 up on the tie at the moment after a nearly perfect performance, barring a 20-second window. And Spurs could, like I said, in the review that we did for this game just after the game on Thursday, Spurs were very, very good. We should have scored double what we did score, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's what football is all about. You create the chances, but you got to take the chances. Just because you create them doesn't mean you deserve to score them. And yes, the pitch, and yes, the climate, and yes, everything that goes into an away game in Scandinavia, it can play a part. Does it mean Spurs are going to go there and fall apart? No, that won't make us fall apart. You might naturally fall apart. That's different. But in terms of the sort of situation you find yourself in, you're not going to fall apart. Even if you go 1-0 down, you go, okay, we're still going through. We have the buffer for a reason. You know, you concede too. All right, fine. You're still in the tie completely. You're not going out because of that. I have already on the record said that I think Spurs will score in the second leg. I think the first leg was really evident, just the sheer volume of opportunities we created. Even if you create half the amount of chances, I still expect to score a goal. And then in terms of me being a Bodo Glimt person, I'm not obviously, but just for argument's sake. And then in that situation, I'd then, as a Bodo Glimt player and team, would know that I have to score 3 just to take it to extra time. You know, it's not one of those that we score 3. Oh, we're going through. No, because Spurs have scored. You would need to score 3 just to take it to extra time. I don't foresee that happening. Could Spurs score more than 1? I think so as well. Again, like I said, we missed a few really, really good opportunities in that first leg that on another day, genuinely Spurs would have scored 6 or 7 and it wouldn't have looked out of place. It would have looked about right. So I think Spurs will still go through. I'm not gonna jump away from that. I still think Spurs will score on Thursday. it gives you then a 3-goal buffer, which in Europe doesn't mean the game is over. Not at all. We've seen bigger turnarounds. Obviously, one of the more famous ones was when PSG went to the Camp Nou and Barcelona turned over what was a humongous goal deficit and won 6-1 in the last minute to go through. Sergio Roberto, of all people, scoring the winner. But cup upsets can happen. Cup shocks can happen. We've lost to worse teams than Bodo Glimt in knockout phases, by the way. Let's be real on that. Bodo Glimt I've always been probably the more fair of people to say. They're a decent outfit. They're a decent side. They know what, like I said, there's no superstars. I think Spurs probably hold one superstar in my opinion. But in terms of in world football, there's not many superstars in world football, in my opinion. It's not like the yesteryear with Real Madrid and Barca, where you look at Ronaldo and Benzema and, and Di Maria, Sergio Ramos, Marcelo, that's just Real Madrid. Barca with Messi and Neymar and Suarez and Xavi and Iniesta and Puyol and whatever. This is a team, though, every single one of those players knows exactly what they're doing. They are drilled into, this is where I need to be. Regardless if it's in the attack, it's on a press, or it's defending. I need to be here because X, Y, and Z is going to happen, or he's going to go there, and then if he goes there, I need to come here. So they are a good side. Away from home, maybe they're not what you think they are, but at home, they're a good side. I mean, 30 wins in their last 37, I think it was, in European football at home. So again, you're dealing with a side who at home are very solid. Okay. Can you beat them? Absolutely. I mean, Karabag beat them this season. Or Karabag, as some people call them. But that's a team that we faced this season, obviously, in the Europa League. They went to Bodo Glimt and they won. So you can beat this side, absolutely. And they're a team that is a bit like Spurs in a way, where they're high press. They're going to cause you some issues in terms of your defensiveness. They're going to cause you some issues, but they will give you opportunities in the attack. What you do with them is on you. They will be there to take, but are you going to take them? And that's why I'm saying I think Spurs will score 1. And with a 3-goal buffer that you would have in theory, I'm not saying Spurs will score first, by the way. I'm just saying, on paper, you tick on, let's say Spurs get 1, right? Now the tie is 4-1. What do they do in the game? And I think they will score. I think they might even score twice. I don't see them beating us on the tie, though. Again, famous last words, and I could be looking stupid here, but I don't see that happening. Okay, I saw from the first leg, again, they will be better. They have some returning players back, especially Berg, the number 6, who is the orchestrator of their attacks. He is the guy, the linchpin, you might call him. He will be back for this tie. We understand that they would have had a week off. They haven't played since Spurs away. So they will have a week's recovery as well. Yes, I understand that they've flown in that time, but you fly back, let's say, Thursday night or early Friday. You're back the rest of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in terms of, yes, you're going to train, but you're not playing, so you're recovering in a way. Spurs obviously played on Sunday with West Ham, but when you look at the players that played in that game, you're not sitting there looking at anyone going, cool, he played a lot of minutes. Maybe Basuma, who might play in this game, we'll have to wait and see on that. But, no one else really you're too sort of looking at and going, oh my God, he played a lot of minutes. That's a worry. We'll see. Son, I don't know if Son will be back for this game. Again, I'll wait for Ange to tell me. But, he's back on grass. He's been training alone for a few days. Will he be able to get back with the squad maybe today or even tomorrow? We'll see. But, when we look at Sunday, Tell gets an assist. Odegaard gets a goal. Johnson, obviously, in the first leg. There's a lot of attackers that are coming into this game off of the back of goal contributions, be it an assist or be it a goal. But, Solanke, first leg, we understand that. Obviously, Richie gets an assist in the first leg. Yeah, I know he didn't get one at the weekend, but I don't think he played that badly at the weekend, if I'm honest. he was getting lumps kicked out of him, and the referees don't really like Richie. They don't want to give him fouls because I think he's play acting. But if you watch the game, lumps were kicked out of him, and he wasn't getting anything for it. But I thought he played well in the first half of the first leg. What they do on the left wing, I'm really, really interested about on the left wing, because I think Johnson's going to come back. He's had a week's rest. Romero's had a week's rest. Mickey van der Ven has had a week's rest. Rodrigo Bentancur, a week rest. Desi Adogi, a week's rest. You start to look at that team. Pedro Porro, sorry, it's another big one, a week's rest. You start to look at that team and go, actually, the core and the spine are coming in as fresh as you could possibly hope for them for this point in the season. So it's good news on that side of things. Obviously, yes, we know we're going to be down 2/3 of the midfield, with Maddison being most likely done. Bergval's obviously done as well. What they do in the midfield, well, you would expect Kulusevski probably to come back into the midfield in terms of, I'm not saying from the weekend, I'm just saying from previous, he will be back into the 10 role. Bissouma Sarr, I would say Bissouma's probably playing alongside Bentancur. So I think that works, because actually the one thing I noticed about that first leg is how disciplined both Bentancur and Bissouma were. Very rarely we're out of position. They're going to need to have another solid performance like that. Sorry, someone told me to sort out the collar on the Bell shirt. I have done that. But look, I think Spurs are going to get through this. A 1-1 draw, maybe even 2-1 loss. I think Spurs will get through this. We then would obviously have Bilbao in a couple of weeks' time, sort of thing. I think it's about a couple of weeks, isn't it, from this Thursday onwards, which is good news. Now, the other thing that will come into play, if Spurs are to go through against Bodo Glimt, however they get through, if they go through, they have a fixture rearrangement with the Aston Villa game, which is the game ahead of the final. That will be moved to the Friday evening. So it matches the amount of time that Manchester United will have in terms of their rest, because they are also playing on the Friday. A little bit of good news. Obviously, it might mean nothing. If we don't go through, it means absolutely nothing. We can ignore it. But if we do, then that is there on the table. So interesting to see. But yeah, in terms of my team, Vicario, Destiny, Mickey, Kuti, Romero, Bentancur, easy. I think we can all agree that's the 6 that we're playing in total so far. Midfield, I think Kulu and Bissouma is probably the 2 that I think are going to be playing. I know some people are worried about Kulu and his performances recently. He's always been a guy that takes a little bit of time post-injury to hit back into a higher gear. He's had a little while now to sort of get his legs and get some match fitness. I think he's going to start improving from Thursday onwards. The front 3, Johnson, Solanke should be back. That was the thing that I sort of teased at the start. Solanke should be back for this game, and I think he will be important. And I think Richie might start. Because obviously Richie was substituted, not early, but he didn't play a full 90 on Sunday. I think Richie on the left wing is going to start. His defensive work rate is very solid. His aerial ability, I think, will be needed. It was needed in the first leg, and it worked very nicely. I think the same thing again. I could even see, similar to the first leg, Matisse Tell or Wilson Odobert coming on for Richie, 60th minute, something like that, and having those fresh legs. But I think Richie might start. Because again, 4G pitches can be very, very quick. I wouldn't be shocked to know Spurs might be playing it into some of those sort of attackers, even at head height, but even to feet. I think 2 guys up front that are good in the air will be very necessary. And also from set pieces, I think, there's no harm in having, when you actually look at it, when we were struggling last year, we didn't really have any height, because obviously Bentancur missed time. You only had Mickey and Kuti, because Richie missed so much time. You only really had those 2. You actually look at it this season, you got the 2 centre-halves as per. You've still then got now Bentancur's back, but also you got Solanke and Richie. So from set pieces, you'll be dangerous, which we have been. But also defensively, you will be fairly solid. So there is that. But yeah, I think Spurs are going to get through. Let me know what you guys think. I'm interested to know. I'm very interested to know what you guys think. But yeah, I think Spurs will go through in this time. And to be honest, I think if you offered Spurs fans a 4-2 loss, they'd probably take it just to make sure they're through. You know what I mean? So there's that. But yeah, let me know what you think. Right, we're going to rattle through the loan roundup because I've got to go at some point soon. Let's start with the Championship, and there's so much to get into. But Leeds United winning the Championship in the 91st minute. Manor Solomon scoring the goal away to Plymouth to win 2-1. He was one of the key reasons that Leeds actually got back into the game. He beat his man, whipped a ball across the 6-yard box. I think there was a touch from a player, and then Nonto taps in at the back post. But yeah, Manor Solomon, fair play, mate. You're a huge reason recently why Leeds have got over the line, and congratulations to Leeds, more than deserved. Moving over to Stoke City, who finished in 18th this season, 2 points ahead of the drop zone, so a little bit nervous towards the end. They drew 0-0 away to Derby County. They played a back five. I think they were going for just the draw, knowing that that would be enough against Derby County, who also survived by a point below Stoke City. But another clean sheet for Ashley Phillips this season. I think he'll learn a lot from this season. Another full season in the Championship. Obviously, a time last season with Plymouth. It'd be good to, if he is going to go out on loan next season, it'd be good to get him a really good Championship side to go on loan to, because I think he will learn so much from it. West Brom winning 5-3 at home to Luton Town. Luton got relegated from this game. West Brom finishing 8th this season, 4 points off of the playoff spot. Will Lancashire didn't feature in this game. I think this is an opportunity that Spurs should learn from when it comes to Will Lancashire. I think he will go out on loan next season. I think he'll go to a solid Championship side. And maybe he turns a solid Championship side into a playoff side, because West Brom fans really rated him. But when you loan in Adam Armstrong, who might be one of the better strikers in the Championship, you're not going to get the minutes that you'd like. So hopefully he gets a good loan move next season. QPR winning away to Sunderland. This game for Sunderland, even though Sunderland are fourth, was really a nothing game. Now, the irony is they've lost in a row, 5 of the last 5. But Sunderland were sort of shoehorned into fourth. They couldn't get third. They were finished 14 points behind third, and they were 7 points clear of fifth. So they were kind of shoehorned into there. They lost 1-0 at home to QPR. They dominated the game. Sunderland, they should probably gotten something from it. But yeah, Yang didn't feature in the game. A solid loan spell for Yang. I think a lot that can be learned from this. And we move on with that, because I think he will continue to get better and better and better. So there is that. Talking of Leyton Orient, 4-1 win away to Huddersfield Town. Leyton Orient have made the playoffs. So next week when I do my loan roundup, we'll be talking more Leyton Orient, which is, I really enjoy talking Leyton Orient, mainly because you've got 2 guys there in a team that after 14 games had 14 points and were sitting 1 place ahead of the relegation zone. And in the next 32 games, they took 64 points. Jamie Donnelly, that's when Jamie Donnelly came into the team. Josh Keeley followed on, and not too long after that. But Jamie Donnelly got the assist for the opener in this game as well. And it was a muck up from the defender, but you know, it is what it is. He was there to take the chance on, and he finishes top of the assist charts in League One. And for a guy who basically started playing in the winter, and he's only had a sort of half a season, to have the most assists is mightily impressive. And I think he will get an opportunity with the first team in pre-season next year and on tour. Whoever the manager is, regardless of Ange or someone else, they will see what they've got in him. If he isn't going to be with the first team next year, he will get a really good loan move to a Championship side, who I think that is his current level in terms of surrounded by other Championship players. I feel like he maybe could give you something in the first team, but congratulations to them. In the playoffs, to give you an idea, they will play Stockport County in the first round. Obviously, in the playoffs, in the Championship League 1 and League 2, it's a 2-leg affair. And then in the final, it's a final, okay? And the other side is Charlton versus Wickham. And yeah, let's see what they have on offer for us. Mansfield Town, 3-0 win at home to Exeter, finishing now 8 points clear of the relegation zone for Mansfield. Matthew Craig didn't play in this. Not been a great season for Matthew Craig. Obviously, starting off at Barnsley, moving to Mansfield, not really getting the minutes that we hoped he would. having due to those injuries. Tough one for him this season. I don't know where they go really from here. Westerlo winning 4-2 at home to Dender. Both Devine and Vuskovic both on the bench. Alfie came on in the 72nd minutes and Vuskovic comes on in the 64th minute. That was at 2-1 down. And then Westerlo scored 3 in the last 15 minutes to win 4-2. And maybe you start Devine and Vuskovic going forward, because maybe if you do that, you win that game even easier. But yeah, more and more football for those two does not hurt any one of us. Yeah, no goal contributions from them in theory, but, you know, technically Vuskovic kept a clean sheet as he's come on. Notts County losing 2-1 at home to League Two winners Doncaster. Probably a draw was more fair. Doncaster had 33% possession. Abbott did play. He played, let me just double check, 85 minutes. It's been a great loan spell for Abbott, honestly. And they are in the playoffs as well for the season ahead. They will be playing AFC Wimbledon, who finished 1 point ahead of them this season. Purely Notts County lost a game and AFC Wimbledon drew one more game. So there's not much in between them. County AFC Wimbledon's conceded 35 goals in their 46. Notts County 49 in their 46. The difference is Wimbledon scored 56 in their 46, but County scored 68. So difficult tie against a good defensive side, but, you know, when you've got some of the better goal scorers in League Two, you should be trying to capitalise on that. And finishing off with Betis, to give you an idea, by the way, obviously Brian Hill's done at Girona. He's been injured for a little while. Betis winning 2-1 away to Espanyol. Veliz obviously at Espanyol. Veliz did get, he came on the 92nd minute. So, yeah, great. But Johnny Cardoso didn't play in this game. Obviously, Betis on Thursday have Fiorentina in the semi-final of the Conference League. They're 2-1 up on the tie at the moment. So, obviously, resting some players ahead of that game. Betis battered the hell out of Espanyol, to be honest. It was surprising they only got 2-1. But yeah, they rested some players ahead of that game. You know, Isco was on the bench, Bakambu, Cardoso, Fornals, Perot were on the bench. Obviously, Anthony did start. Lo Celso started. Who is this fella? Cucho Hernandez started. I thought it was Javier Hernandez for a second. So look, all in all, good day at the office for some of those players. Obviously, loan roundup next week will include knockout football, as well as obviously some teams that are still playing, like Cardoso, like Vuskovic and Devine. But yeah, hopefully we get some good news out of Leyton Orient. I'd love to talk more and more about them for another couple of weeks. Obviously, it'd be fantastic if they're going to end the season with promotion. Those two guys have been two of their best players this season. Obviously, I know Heung-Min was top goal scorer in League One, but those two guys have been two of the biggest reasons why this team has turned around the way they have. And hopefully it continues. We'll sort of see on that, though. We'll sort of see. But look, thank you so much for joining me, by the way. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's a quicker one. I know I've got to rush off now and get ready for a call in 10 minutes. But thank you all so much for joining me today. Please go and enjoy the rest of your days. Please stay safe. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, wherever you are in the world. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk a lot more about Tottenham. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. I'll speak to you all soon. Peace.